Did the Texas offense really play well enough to win the game against the Georgia Bulldogs? That's the burning question. Welcome to Student of the Game. My name is Adrian Phillips, 10-year NFL vet, and this is a space where we break down the biggest games throughout the week of college football. Now, let me start this off by saying that this is a space where we do not bash players. We just talk about what simply happened. Some could be good, some could be bad. Also, I'm not in the film room. You're not in the film room. So we don't know what these guys are technically getting taught. So with that being said, let's get into it with the offensive side of the football against the Georgia defense to see if those guys really play well enough to go out there and come home with the dub. So for the past couple weeks, Texas has really started the game off trying to get this guy right here, number one, Wingo, involved early. Versus Mississippi State 3 weeks ago, he took one 70 yards. Versus Vandy 2 weeks ago, he took it to the crib for 70 yards. So they've been trying to find a way to get him started early because he's like a volume receiver. He's like a volume shooter if you really follow basketball. The more touches he gets, the better he generally becomes. So we're gonna see right here that Texas pops it off, something easy just to kind of get the game slow it down for him with a simple screen, and we get ate up by the turf monster. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened right here if he would have been able to get through an arm tackle. Maybe this would have sprung us through for like 20, 30 yards. Who knows? He gets ate up by the turf monster. It is what it is. It's on to the next. This was something that I really love to see. So early on, we always talk about the script that Sark has. And when we talk about a play script, those are the first 15 plays. I think Sark said he do like the first 24 or something like that. But generally, the first part of the game that are tendency breakers for the defense, so you really don't know what they're doing. We saw one tendency earlier, a play before, just trying to get Wingo started. Right here, we actually get a motion to a receiver in the backfield. That is a new look. That is a new look that Texas hasn't really done that often. So we get this, we see that they have all these guys communicating. I feel like Georgia really disguised what they were doing here early. This pretty much ends up being a all-out blitz, but with the receiver in the backfield, it causes some communication problems. We see right here that this safety is really responsible for this guy right here, but he's so far away that he can't get there. There's miscommunication between the corner and the safety right there, and we end up getting positive yards early, explosive plays early. When you can get those explosive plays early to really calm down this guy right here and calm down that offensive line, it should be a long day for you. It should. Great catch. Catching. That's gonna be the emphasis of today. Catching the rock. Gotta catch the rock, bro. A lot of plays happen, a lot of positive plays happen, and then we get to a false start that really ends up killing a drive for the offense, and it kind of turns into one of those same things that happened the past few times that we played Georgia, is that when we get in the red zone, just something bad happens and Texas cannot convert to 6 points. It always ends up as 3 or nothing, and that's typically how Georgia either gets it spread or get back in the game. So we get that false start. It ends up moving it to 3rd and 8. And this is a money play right here. So we identify that it's man coverage. right here. We have the linebacker tracking the running back. We have our two safeties. They're playing what some people like to call like a double rover coverage. So it's really like 2-man. In the middle of the field, these two guys are going back deep. The closer you get to the red zone, or the closer that you get to defending the 3rd down line, these guys end up becoming like double robbers, and they're cross-keying any which way. So we see that this man coverage right here. It's drawn up a different way, but this is ideally the same play that Sark ran against Ohio State, where unfortunately Wingo, number one, dropped the pass to convert. We really needed that. If he catches this ball right here, we for sure get the first down, but we're at the 8, maybe the 5, maybe you make somebody miss. Who knows? It it gets a little interesting then. But the first thing that you got to do, bro, you got to catch the rock. And he knows that. He is a really good receiver. He made some great catches in this game, but we got to be able to catch the rock. And this is what those bunch formations causes when you play against teams that run a lot of man. It's just traffic everywhere. So much traffic. It's congested. And when you have a guy like Wingo that's fast and able to get those underneath routes with the mesh concepts, like those should be butter. I know Sark was mad. I know he had to be mad. Really, from our offensive line, just to kind of hit on them a little bit. I know they had some penalties in there, some holding penalties, whatever, but from a pass pro outside of the penalties, they really played well. Now, I don't know if you still call it playing well. Would you still say they played well if you count the penalties? That's another discussion right there. So we end up getting 3 points, end up going 0-3-0. Georgia ends up scoring. Now it's 7-3. So we got a little fake toss action right here to try to influence the underneath coverage. When you get a toss action like this, you really want to influence these guys to get something behind them right here. So we get the fake toss action. And they end up running what some defensive personnel like to call Dallas, which is like a double in. So you got these two guys going in right here with him coming over the top, either a post or a go route. Some people call it ice, over, in, whatever that may be. But it's just a really good job by Arch, really just scanning the pocket and getting all the way down to his check down to give us some positive yards. Like, you're gonna see him scan right to left, and the offensive line really did good. Really did good. There were so many positive plays offensively that really just got killed by holding calls, penalties, whatever it may be. But Texas, it was unfortunate the end score turned out the way that it did. This was a cool play right here from Georgia defensively. I really didn't like the scheme from the offensive side, but this is what we talk about. We talked about this with Colin Simmons a couple weeks ago versus Vandy about forcing the issue. Oh my God, that is a terrible arrow. Forcing the issue with the quarterback when they're reading, when it's an RPO, when it's a triple option. Some people like to surf, which means I'm gonna play the quarterback. Some people like to crash, which means I'm gonna go play the dive, go play the running back. Some people like to tee off on your quarterback. Just run straight at the quarterback, force the issue right now. This was a tough play for Texas. Arch ends up getting his ball out. And you'll see in our defensive breakdown, Colin Simmons did the same thing, and Stockton was able to get it out too. But when you force the issue like this, it generally turns into a negative play or a no-game play. Like, this was 3rd and 2. This was a big play for them. They pinned those ears back. It really makes it tough because the scheme that we had was really, which is crazy, what Georgia kind of scored their last touchdown on with Stockton in the red zone. You have this guy pulling, you got this guy coming back, so it looks like what we call a counter OY with the read off of it, but it's an influence to get the ball to the flat. But when you have a guy running full speed at you, forcing the issue, you don't have time for this play to develop. Georgia seemed like they were on top of it already, so it really didn't even matter. But at the same time, it just makes it hard for this big guy. I know we love linemen, but we just call them fat, slow guys. If you run at full speed, there should be no way they could catch you. He couldn't catch him right there, and it ends up being a negative play. That happens. It's 14-3. We get a big kickoff return. We get a holding call on the kickoff. The very next play, we get a holding call, and they showed this in slow motion, and I feel like they did that on purpose to kind of influence the fans and show that they didn't mess up the call. But we get a holding call right here that really shouldn't have been called, bro. These plays happen all the time. So we get a run, end up getting like some positive yards off of it, 7-8 yards, really close to a first down. And I'm gonna let this play in real time to show you what this holding call looked like. Not a hold. Not a hold, bro. And for y'all that don't know what you're looking for, just watch 33 and watch this pulling guard right here. You cannot call this. You can't call that, bro. Awful. We did not get a call, and it was so funny. People were posting on Twitter about what Sark had to say last year at halftime. Like, I hope we get some calls too, because they were not being fair. And I love that I don't play anymore, because now I can get to go after refs the way that I want to. Those refs were freaking awful, bro. They were awful, bro. They were freaking awful. But it is what it is. So we end up getting half the distance to the goal. And this is to show what really goes unnoticed, first of all, is that Arch played the best that Arch has played since he has stepped on the University of Texas campus. This is what people wanted to see, and I know the numbers don't show it, but that's because there were drops in there. The offense was really balanced until the game really got out of reach, but it was throwing dots, and it was crazy. Standing in the pocket strong, it shows you when you have confidence in your own line, even more confidence that you had in the beginning of the season. It don't have to be full belief 100%, but more than you had at the beginning of the season. It shows what he can do, bro. It shows what he can do. Watch this. So Georgia is playing a box coverage on this side of the field. I'll let the motion come. They're playing a box coverage on this side of the field. So Texas has 3 guys right here. And when you play what some teams like to call cover 4, there's different variations of cover 4, right? But ideally, what it is, you got 4 quarters of the field. You got those 4 people calling it. What Georgia's doing right here, they're running another version of cover 4, which is basically doubling on your slot receiver. So this corner, they're doubling on your slot receiver or the guy off the ball if it is a stack. When you get to this side over here, 3-man bunch, you play what you call a box. So basically, you have this corner going here, this corner going here. I mean, this safety going there. You have this low backer playing the widest of 2 and 3. So he'll be playing the widest of these 2 guys right here. And you'll have this inside linebacker playing the innermost of these 2 guys right here. Box coverage, it looks like a box. So great play call right here. You can kind of see it. It's an ugly box. It's an ugly box. But they're playing box coverage right here. Arch starts front side to look over here. He sees the double. He comes all the way back, stands in the pocket strong, delivers a strike to Mosley, and I'll rewind that for you so you can watch the whole play through. Delivers a strike. We have a little delayed high-low right there, and we get out the gate. But that's just testament to Arch being able to go through his progression, manipulate with the eyes, and deliver a catchable ball to his guys. The number 1 job as a receiver is to catch the ball. It's 14-3. In big games like this, everything matters. So we get to the next play, we get out, we get lucky. Well, I don't even want to say we get lucky, but we get fortunate enough to get out. And we have a shot right here that Arch takes, another drop. Was it a tough catch? Yes, but bro, y'all get paid now. Gotta come down with it. So that's strike 1, right? I don't know if this is like one of the script things or if this is just Sark being a mastermind or outsmarting the defense, because he's way smarter than me. But with the formation into the boundary, I just feel like there's not enough space right here for Wingo to work and for, I think that's more, 0 to get really across the field. There's nothing really there, and we got Mosley backside, so we got, maybe if you like the one-on-one backside, you'll take it there, but there's just not enough room to really sell this out and up for me. But good pass pro. He had time. Arch had time, but we gotta catch it. Gotta catch it. He knows it. He is a dog, bro. He is a dog, but we gotta catch the ball. You gotta help your quarterback out. There's something about, like, in basketball terms, there's something about like just seeing the ball I call it a goal. Some people call it a hoop, but see the ball go in the cup. You just gotta see some makes. Gotta see some makes. Like 2nd and 10, routine, terrible coverage defensively, and we drop it. Strike 2. So it's like, all right, whatever. I'm calling those dots. Arch isn't really like threading the needle. That first one was a dot, like, bro. So it's like, all right, whatever. Arch isn't really like threading the needle. That first one was a dot, like, bro. Anywhere else, that ball is picked. Then we come back, strike 3. We have another dot. Set up perfectly. Perfect play call. Exactly what you want to see. Good route. Just got to catch it. You got to see these passes completed. Right here, Georgia is going to man you up. Like, that's what they do. If Kirby can't figure out what you're doing, he's going to man you up. He's going to say, my athletes are better than your athletes. My DBs are better than your receivers. And I'm going to go prove it. And they really didn't. They really didn't. But, and this wasn't man. It was a match, but still. Same thing. Like, it's there. So you got 3 strikes. You out. Like, you gotta catch those. Texas defense had really turned it up after those 14 points they had been playing well. And we get another dot from Arch right here. This is good. This is max pro play action versus we won't necessarily call it an all-out blitz, but it's max blitz ish versus max pro right here. So they got 5 guys in coverage. It would make it a max blitz technically if this guy ends up coming. He doesn't. But with that point being said, like, for Arch to be able to go through play action, hit the top of the foot, throw it before the receiver turns around, 100 miles an hour, right on the money. Like, Buddy was in his bag, bro. He played really freaking good. He was in his bag. He was processing things really fast. Offensive line really did a solid job. He was in his bag. He played well enough to win this game. And I know that he said that, you know, it starts on him, but that's what leaders are supposed to say. He played really freaking well. This is just wild, bro. This is just wild. So by this time, Texas probably has 5 penalties. We're gonna be highlighting this guy right here. Just be consistent, bro. If you're a ref and you're gonna be ticky-tacky, be consistent. Be consistent. Call it on both sides. I'm gonna pause this, but the ball is right here. It's a little bit blurry. This guy is already tackling the receiver. That is a flag. A flag that ends up turning into a pick. It was a high ball, wasn't a great ball, but bro, he is already tackling him. Again, now the ball is like right here. Just be consistent, bro. Like, if you're gonna be ticky-tacky, if you're gonna say, hey, we calling everything tight, then be that way. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Ends up turning into a pick. You know what they say? They say ball do not lie. So they didn't end up getting anything from it. And we get to the next drive right here. And one thing that Bill Belichick always used to say over and over and over, if you're a ball carrier, you gotta know when the journey is over. You get positive yards, first down, you get it to 2nd and 5. You gotta know when the journey is over. It's already a negative play. Don't make it worse. I know he wishes he could have that back. You do not want to make it worse. Against Georgia, in Georgia, who hunting right now, that's a tough ask. With that being said, Arch was in his bag, bro. It is 3rd and 14. 3rd and 14. There are not a lot of play calls that you can call for that. You can call sticks. Everybody run to the sticks. Turn around. You can call indigo, which means, you know, somebody's going vertical. Indigo looks like this. He's going vertical. You got an end right behind him to try to clear it out. There's not a lot of play calls you can call. Some people give up here. You get lucky, especially with the ball being on your own 17. Like, there's not a lot that you can do, but when you got a QB who feeling himself, who's in his bag, who's behind enemy lines. He was behind enemy lines, bro. And in his bag, like, what more can you ask for? So they end up running sticks with the clear out right here. And Arch is throwing to this guy right here. I'm gonna run it back for y'all. And I'll show what that looks like on the back end, that if this ball isn't on the money, Wingo didn't have to move an inch. Ball on the money, first down, on time, on the burnt orange 1. If this ball is anywhere else, it's incomplete. Or, look at this. Hold on, let me see if I can. If this ball, and it's blurry right now, but if this ball is anywhere else, here's the ball. Anywhere else, it's incomplete or it's picked off. But he's on the money. When you playing like this, bro, you gotta be able to take advantage of it. You gotta be able to take advantage of when your quarterback is feeling himself. Sark has like three favorite plays, I feel like. The screen and go, and the Broadway. Texas almost had the Broadway right here. If Sark is hitting on the screen and go, and the Broadway, it's a win, bro. It's a win. And we hit on 1 out of 3. So we get the Broadway right here, and what Broadway is, one of these two guys is right here is this guy, the receiver. But typically, one of these two guys right here gonna go shallow cross and burst up the field for a touchdown. Gunnar Helm made a living out of this. We've hit on it a couple of times this year. It's tough play to guard if you're a defender, because you're looking at the quarterback and then, you know, people just pop up out the ground. But it wouldn't have mattered right here anyway, because we got a holding call that actually was a holding call. So it wouldn't have mattered, but if it was there. It was there. Got off of it just a little too quick. I felt like he was just kind of back there patting the ball, and typically when you back there patting the ball, it's tough. But here's the holding call right here. This one actually was a hold. 2nd and 20, whatever. We don't get anything out of it. The defense helps us out with the interception. It was looking for a little bit. it was looking for a little bit defensively, but them boys really tighten up. So now, right here, we get to a 3rd down after the pick, and we get another dot from Arch. Like, bro, anywhere else, this is picked. If he overthrows this anymore, this guy's picking it. If Arch underthrows this even a little bit, it's incomplete or picked off. A freaking dot. Touch on the money. Gotta take advantage when your quarterback is playing like this. And that shows what type of hands he has, Wingo. Like, for him to go up knowing you about to get hit, make that catch, do your celly. Like, gotta take advantage. Gotta take advantage. The offense, it was really like just shooting yourselves in the foot at the most critical times. We finally get on the board. Texas really has trouble like running the ball in the red zone, so we add like the RPO factor with it right here. Well, right here, we actually add another element to it, and just, I believe this might just be a straight up play action. And Wingo wins his one-on-one, and we get on the board, and Arch throws a freaking shot. Like, look how fast he processes this. Get to him. As soon as he fixes his eyes on him, ball's out, knows the lane that he's going to. He's throwing over here. He sees Wingo here. Buddy was in his bag, bro. He was in his bag. One thing that I do not like about college football that I'm going to talk about right here is that the ball is on the 7-yard line. 7-yard line. We got somebody blocking on the 4. He's about to be on the 4. He's about to block on the 4. I used to hate that about college football, because you don't know if it's a play act. Like, if they're good at it, you don't know if it's a run or a play action or not. That's why your D-line has to be nasty. Like, what are you supposed to do right there, bro? Everything seems like run. Like, this dude ends up on the 2-yard line. We scored, though. get it to 14-10. Texas doesn't get the ball back offensively until it's 28-10. The game gets out of hand. You playing from behind in the fourth quarter against a defense who been playing straight. Like there's nothing you can really do. This was one of the few. I know Arch ended up getting touched a lot at the end of the game, but by that time it is what it is. So Georgia has a low front, and generally what happens when you have a low front like this with all these guys on one side with this guy over here, it's usually a one-on-one right here. It's usually a one-on-one right there. This was one of the few breakdowns in protection that was unfortunate. And I don't know their protection. When we have a low front defensively, if you don't one-on-one this guy over here, somebody's coming home free. One of these 5 guys are coming home free if they're all coming. And it ends up being this guy because we have a half slide. And like I said, I don't know their protection, but big guys usually account for big guys. And this was one of the, I would say probably one of the worst protections of the day. Arch, he started getting touched at the end of the game, but by that time, it was already over. And I'm putting this on here just to show again how, like, if you're gonna be ticky-tacky, call it both ways. Now you could say Wingo initiated the contact, yes, but he's grabbing. That's tough. Maybe they let him play because Wingo probably initiated the contact, but Buddy straight up grabbed. And he grabbed again to get even closer. Like you gotta call that. We're gonna stop it right there because honestly there was nothing else. I believe that outside of the penalties of shooting themselves in the foot, Texas really played well enough offensively to win the game. They just have to eliminate the penalties, be more technically sound. These losses will start turning into wins and you'll be more competitive. People got to catch the ball, gotta stop the flags. This was a tough loss. I don't think it was primarily on the offense. I don't think the offense was primarily the problem. We'll talk about what happened defensively, which was very disappointing to see on that side of the ball. They fought, but it was very disappointing to see, and will also show what happened on the onside kick and what Kirby Smart was looking at and what his special teams coordinator was looking at to say that we got a chance to be able to get them boys. That took some big cojones right there. Is that how you say it? Cojones? It took some big ones. Thank you for coming to part 1 of Student of the Game. I can't wait to break down part 2 with y'all. This was fun. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw like how well Texas played really outside of the little mishaps here and there so you don't kill them guys online. But with that being said, I will see y'all next time. Like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Leave some comments. I love engaging with y'all in the comments to talk about ball. It really stimulates my mind. So let's keep doing it. I'm AP. Once again, I'll holla at you.